Damn right, Stephen Avery and Brendan Dassey are getting out of prison. You bet your ass. He knows it too. Okay? So, let's get down to business. In Exhibit 29, rear profile bumper is unpainted. In Exhibit 335, the rear profile bumper is 760 Mystic Teal Mica. Exhibit 29 proves that Pam and Nicole did not take the photographs of a RAV4, not Teresa's RAV4, on Avery Auto Salvage. That's what that proves. The pictures of Exhibit 29, that photo, was on that phone before Pamela Strum and her daughter Nicole showed up at the Avery Auto Salvage. Because Pamela Strum and Nicole Strum were looking at Exhibit 335, rear profile bumper, 760 Mystic Teal Mica, and that's not what is in the photographs. That's a staged event in advance. The photos were on the camera. Pamela Strum gave the camera to law enforcement and told law enforcement that her and Nicole took those photos that's on the camera that law enforcement took in and downloaded. However, those photographs, if you go to the metatag file, you have to go to the metatag file and you will find out when those photos were actually taken, and it won't be 10/30/5 November 2005. It's more likely to be 31 October when Earl Avery and Robert Fabian were hunting rabbits. Okay. Shit. Chuck was supposed to be down there digging out some trees or something. So we know that we have Chuck back in the back 40 doing something out of Stephen's sight. We know that we have Earl Avery back there, and he shows up with Robert Fabian. So we have Earl Avery, Chuck Avery, and Robert Fabian down in the back 40 where these photographs were taken. And Steve was off work. Well, that's it. That's really it. We placed Chuck Avery out in the back 40. We got Earl Avery and Robert Fabian planting a generic RAV4. It's not Teresa's RAV4. It's Avery Auto Salvage RAV4. It's Cleveland Auto Salvage RAV4. Or it's Lemieux Auto Salvage Trade-In RAV4. But in all cases, that vehicle sitting there with the unpainted rear bumpers right and left is not Teresa's RAV4. What? The Exhibit 3.5 rear profile bumper, 760 Mystic Teal Mica, is a color that has 760 Mystic Teal Mica front, 760 Mystic Teal Mica back, K95 left, K95 right on it. That's not Teresa's. If it is Teresa's, it's Teresa's in paperwork only. It's a paper tiger. So, all RAV4s that came off of Avery Auto Salvage, Bobby can push it all he wants. Link and Colburn can pull it onto the property all they want. It's not Teresa Marie Halbach's vehicle, the one that she drove. Now then, to add to it, the side Cataline, off of that, gray, yeah. That went on the other RAV4. Because you got the same mud splatter on both of them. Now you can take a picture of it, you can take Photoshop out the mud, and you can make a decal, and you can put a decal on them. On the running board at the bottom. So all that was decaled on. That was real for whatever vehicle that was real on, but one photograph in the 29, 30, 31, 32 series, Exhibit 30 actually, right side profile, that is a 8 kilo 4 confetti? Yeah. Blue. The vehicle in Exhibit 335 is 760 Mystic Teal Mica. They're wearing two different paint jobs. The entire body. There's so much fucked up in all the photos of the RAV4s involved that you cannot possibly have convicted Stephen Avery and Brendan Dassey. You could have not possibly have determined Teresa Marie Halbach to be dead. So, Pamela and Nicole knew that they were lying under oath when they testified that they took these photographs. Now, why did Ryan loan Pamela Strum a camera if Nicole took the pictures on her cell phone? Wouldn't they be Nicole taking pictures on the cell phone versus Ryan gave you the camera and we got the pictures off the camera? Now, some people think that all the pictures are Photoshopped, and that the Exhibit 29 is Photoshopped not to look like Exhibit 335. Okay? Well, if that be the case, then that's brought up on the court once again. And brought up on the court makes the court order void as if never issued and having no further legal effect. Okay? So, you compare, here it is, fine, I'll just put it in. Now then, we have, I believe, Exhibit 133, right rear profile. The door handle in Exhibit 133 is blue. 760 Mystic Teal Mica. So the door handle is 760 Mystic Teal Mica. But other photographs have black handles. Well, the 760 Mystic Teal Mica door handle is in the driver's side back passenger door at Avery Auto Salvage taken by trooper, Wisconsin State Trooper. Now, Wisconsin State Trooper once again shows that's the left profile, the right profile, front passenger door is a 6 feet 3 deep jewel green door handle, just exactly the same color of RAV4 that you've seen on WBA2 News, Action 2 News, coverage you can count on, 3rd and 4th of November 2005. Okay? That's what you have. So, Pam and Nicole lied in court that they took those photographs. Ryan and Mike were not on the property, and they didn't plant that. And a few days later, they didn't have access, and they got alibis where they were at. So we can exclude Ryan giving Pam the camera, because the camera was on AV Auto Salvage before Pam arrived. So Ryan is lying that he gave her a camera, and they're covering for Earl because Ryan didn't give her the camera, even though she says he did, even though he says he did. Actually, it was Earl Avery that gave Pam the camera with the preloaded photographs on it. They didn't take any pictures, and they gave it off to law enforcement. So, Earl Avery, Robert Fabian, Chuck Avery, we're all out there. They have access to it. They have access to get one here and there. They took photographs of it. Then they brought it back, and they had to take the side off of that and put it on a blue one. They had to take the fender's wheel off of that and put the blue one. The part that's bent over, and you can see through, that had to be taken out and transferred over. So they took out the splash guard for the engine compartment, and they bent that back. Then they had to take that out, put that in the other one. They took the side panels off, put the side panels on. It's all right there. I made a slideshow, Mission Impossible, with all the differences and stuff like that. That didn't seem to affect anybody. So here's what we have, pretty much everybody knows that Stephen Avery and Brendan Dassey could not have killed Theresa Marie Halbach. Not with this monkey around shit going on. Okay? You don't just go do that and parts of stuff. That is sabotaging a framing. So Chuck knew that Steve was going to get framed. Earl knew, Robert Fabian knew that Stephen was going to get framed. Which means the Hermans knew that Stephen Avery was going to get framed because the Hermans was in charge of framing them. Kenneth Peterson said, "Frame Stephen Avery, I don't care what it takes." Robert Herman said, "Fuck you. We're going to give Theresa Marie Halbach a green RAV4, 63 deep Joe green, all one color, okay? Just like you see on 2 News. Just like Mike picked out, okay? And then we're going to take pictures of something that you cannot possibly confuse it with. Thus, Chuck and Earl and Robert Fabian were down there, and they staged that event. Then they brought the vehicle back, and they put the parts off the vehicle, put it on the other vehicle, 760, which is all one color. So the vehicle that you see is all one color, but it's got K series features on it. That's not supposed to be there. And we have 760, all one color with the same features on it that's not supposed to be on it according to the VIN. Let's see now. Jerry Pagel wrote down in 1996 Blue RAV4, which 1996 Blue RAV4 is an AK4 confetti blue. Okay? And they didn't make 760 in 1998. So there's a year difference in the search warrant. So they got a search warrant for the Exhibit 30 RAV4, which is not Theresa's. And they convicted Stephen Avery on the 760 Mystic Teal Mica Exhibit 137 with the painted 760 Mystic Teal Mica back bumper covers. Okay? It's two different vehicles. And they're both one? No fucking possible way. So if they're fucking around with RAVs and shit, and Theresa called from the payphone. They didn't call from the payphone. There was no payphone at that time. Called from this other place. Anyway. Quick Mart, 760 Mystic Teal Mica RAV4, called in by Sergeant Andy Colburn, was impounded into Cleveland Auto Salvage, and that's where the green RAV4 went. Gone. Just like that. So they got the green RAV4 off the property, out of sight, in impound in the records. Then they got another RAV4 that they brought in, the 760 Mystic Teal Mica, and said it was Theresa's, but there's no identification mark on it whatsoever. None. When you take pictures of it, down here at the bottom, here's a little square white piece, right? You can't get anything off of it. So that vehicle, the photos of that vehicle that's reported to be Theresa Hallbox is still yet unidentified. Now, what is the VIN that Theresa had on a vehicle that's not the vehicle for that VIN? And Dave Remaker says that that VIN was disconnected from the vehicle. It was bent, twisted, fucked up, not in factory condition. Okay? Yeah. And then, when the blue one gets to Wisconsin State Crime Lab, it's got pretty much a perfect VIN on it. Yeah. So the two of the same VINs. One's on the green one, detached, fucked up, and one's on the blue one, not detached, not fucked up. See what I'm saying? Yeah. There it is. Now, Theresa's driving along. She's going to her appointment. Stephen Avery apes out on her ass, kills her, rapes her, kills her, does all this shit, throws her in this pit, burns her up. All this shit when that vehicle's not Theresa's. That vehicle's not Theresa's. Maybe it is Theresa's, but she wasn't known to drive it. And the vehicle she was known to drive was taken into impound in Manawha County Sheriff's Department. That's 3 different fucking vehicles, people. That's 3 different vehicles. Proof right there. Nicole? Oh, yeah, okay, fine. Clean my bowl out. Anyway. There you have it, people. Could not did not could have, absolutely, positively could not have killed Theresa Marie Halbach. And that means that Theresa Marie Halbach is not dead. That means the bones in the fire pit are not Theresa's. That means a shitload of people perjured themselves in this trial. Why wouldn't Stephen Avery be getting out of prison? Why wouldn't Brendan Dassey be getting out of prison? You see, they know it, but they won't do shit about it. So, I know that what I put up here gets back to Stephen Avery. I know that this is going to get back to Stephen Avery. They could not have possibly killed Theresa Marie Halbach. No way in fucking hell. None. There's the solid fucking evidence. This is not a theory. Fuck your theory bullshit. There's the fucking proof, people. There's the proof. 100% guaranteed. Go to the bank, cash a check. Oh, Zellner, since I busted the case years ago, but anyway, Stephen Avery, yeah, make sure Zellner gives me that $100,000. I busted this fucking case wide open. I've been busting this case wide open. I will continue to bust this case wide open. And you all you fuckers, you know that Stephen Avery and Brendan Dassey are innocent. And you know that Theresa Marie Halbach is not dead. And that Theresa Marie Halbach is in fact alive somewhere. Now, I have a problem. I need a photographer. I need a photographer to A, take all the photographs and run it through AI. I need a photographer that'll go on that time by shadow application program, tell you what time this photograph was taken. There's an app for it. Yeah. I need to get the meta tag file on it and get the date that it was actually shot and on what camera it was shot on. Okay? Yeah. Need that too. And there's a picture of Theresa Marie Halbach supposedly standing in front of her RAV4, her green one. Okay? At Voyager Park. Then it went into Crass's hands and it became blue. So there's a detection application, detect if this photograph, between the two photographs, which was real, which is the original, which is a copy. The blue one's a copy, obviously. So, I'll tell you what. Stephen Avery, yeah. I want you to tell Kathleen T. Zellner to pay Theresa St. Jean Crockett in Trail, British Columbia, $100,000 to AI all the photographs in evidence, do time shadow of just the 30 through 35, 36 evidence, okay? The one that Pam supposedly took, we just need that. and the Meditag file and report back to you, to Stephen, what the results are, and is there more than one rab. So, Theresa St. Jean Crockett at Theresa, Photography by Theresa. Okay? Trail, British Columbia. Girl, you got the job. Okay? Go through all of them and report to Stephen Avery. Send it to Stephen Avery. Fuck Zoner. Send it to Stephen Avery at where he's at. Give it to him. He'll give it to Zoner. Okay? It's better Zoner get it from him than get it from you. So, Theresa St. Jean Crockett, boom, there's your file. And Kathleen T. Zoner, $100,000. Payable to, all right? Theresa St. Jean Crockett, Trail, British Columbia. Checks in the mail, girl. Now, here's the question. 2 questions. Why wouldn't you do that? Why wouldn't Theresa St. Jean Crockett, Trail, British Columbia, not do that and collect $100,000 and be there when Stephen Avery and Brendan Dassey walk out of prison? You won't do it if you're Theresa Marie Halbach. You might do it if you're Theresa Marie Halbach, too. Hi, I'm actually Theresa Marie Halbach. Here, take my DNA. Give me a buccal swab. Show up at Zoner's office. If you're Theresa Marie Halbach, just walk into Zoner's office and say, I'm Theresa Marie Halbach. Here's, get a buccal swab on my ass, okay? That's my DNA. Why don't you just do that? Collect $100,000. Okay? Okay. Stephen A. Avery will pay Theresa St. Jean Crockett / Theresa Marie Halbach $1 million to walk into Zoner's office and collect $100,000. Have Zoner hand you the $100,000 in your hand, and Stephen Avery will sue the fuck out of everybody and clue you in for a cool mill. Or you and Stephen Avery can go into cahoots, business together, and Brendan, and take 1/3 of everything. Because if you had to run and hide, you had to create a whole entire life. At least you had a life to create, and you were free. Stephen wasn't. So most you can get is 10%. Well, 10% of 400,000 is about 400 million. Is about 40 million. Something like that. So whether you're Theresa Marie Halbach, whether you're not Theresa Marie Halbach, you stand to gain money, but only if you're Theresa Marie Halbach do you get the million. If you're Theresa St. Jean Crockett, take a buccal swab, get the DNA, you're Theresa St. Jean Crockett, you're no relationship whatsoever to the Halbachs, then you get the $100,000. Can't lose. All you're doing is, you're doing a job. Zoner's paying you $100,000 to do this job. If it comes out to be more than one rapport. And it will. There's $100,000 just waiting for you to come get. Theresa St. Jean Crockett, there's $100,000 waiting for you. All you have to do is just walk into Zoner's office and say, give me the fucking money, slap, here's your photographs. Here's your photographs, artificial intelligence, paint, identification. Here's your photograph of the morning on Avery Auto Salvage by the sun. Here's your meta tags, if you can get the meta tags. Nice little fucking folder, slap it on her desk and say, hand me $100,000. Why wouldn't you do that? If Teresa St. Jean Crockett is Teresa St. Jean Crockett, she'll get on a fucking airplane and she'll fly down there and go get the money. She'll do it all first, right? And that shouldn't take too long. And then she'll fly down there and she'll have to be given the money. Stephen Avery, Brendan Dassey walk based on how fast you can get there. Or you can just email her the fucking results, okay? Sitting right where you're at, don't even leave trail. How about that? That's the biggest fucking job you ever got. 100 grand? 100 grand? Now, if it's Teresa Marie Halbach, you won't do it, and Stephen Avery will pay you $1 million to do it. Well, and then you get Zellner's 100 grand. So you're 1,100,000 grand. If you don't do it, you're Teresa Marie Halbach. Yeah. If you don't do this, you're Teresa Marie Halbach. I'll guarantee you. Fuck yeah. So, got you, girl. Smoked you out. What are you going to do now? We're waiting. We're waiting. Yeah. Beauty. You dumbass. The bumper on the photographs that Nicole and Pamela Strum claim to have taken, they didn't take. How do you like me now, Beauty? Strang, Night Rider, Dresden, Zellner. How do you like me now? Steve, yeah. Brendan, roll up your shit. You're out of there.